slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't.
Hey team, I wanted to make a video in regards to the importance of slow running and why slow runs are considered essential for marathon training. I always emphasize how important doing very paced long runs is, and getting outside of just running long, slow, and easy every single weekend. But also keep in mind, slow runs are still absolutely vital if you want to become a faster marathon runner. You can't just push the body hard anaerobically all of the time and expect to get a high return on your investment. Okay, this is, as you all know, marathon training and just running in general takes an enormous amount of time, energy, and resources. So you have to make sure that you're not only running at faster paces to make sure that you improve your body's lactate tolerance so that you can hold goal marathon race pace for a longer period of time. You also have to get out there and just spend time on your feet, just easy, relaxed, slow running. And there are numerous benefits to just running slow. Obviously, it improves your marathon pace because, again, you're building that strong base of aerobic endurance. It also helps to build mental toughness and endurance, okay? When you're spending an enormous amount of time doing these longer, slow runs, it does help you mentally because, again, you've grown accustomed to what it feels like to be able to run for 2 hours to 3 hours, 3 hours plus in some cases for some runners. It wasn't, I've done several long runs, anywhere from 25 miles up to 30 miles. That was the longest run I ever did training for marathons. And so those types of runs where I wasn't really focused just on faster, very paced marathon pace efforts like throughout the long runs. I always talk about very paced long runs, doing those every other week and not just, and most certainly not doing very paced long runs every single weekend. Okay, if you want to become a faster marathon runner, you have to also focus on adaptation and recovery. You cannot continue to push hard all of the time. That's why even the athletes that I coach, I have one athlete, he has a personal best of 2 hours, 40 minutes for the marathon. I have to remind him at times, make sure you're slowing down on those recovery days because, again, when it comes time to doing the tempo runs, doing the speed training workouts, those VO2 max workouts where you're really stressing your heart, you're running around 95% to 100% of your maximum heart rate, that is going to test you to the limits both physiologically as well as mentally. Okay, so long, slow, easy running, it builds those blood capillaries, it helps to improve the mitochondria within the cells, helps you to build your endurance and stamina for a longer period of time. And so it's not just running faster, very paced long runs that's going to guarantee you a faster marathon time. It's all the other little fundamentals. And of course, if all you're doing is just running slow, long runs every single weekend, you're going to be really challenged when you're going up against another marathon runner who's doing a higher percentage of that weekly volume at a faster effort. Okay, I always studied, when I was at my prime, I studied what the best runners were doing. And as a marathon runner, when I was in high school, I never envisioned being a marathon runner. Okay, I was always focused on the 800, 1500, 1600, 2-mile distances. When I got to college, focused heavily on the 5,000, 8 kilometers running in cross country. But I never really thought of myself as a marathon runner. So once I started running this distance in 2002, I became immersed in what I was doing. I was like, okay, well, I've studied what I have to do to get faster in the more anaerobic, faster events like the 800 meter, the 1500, the mile, distances like that. Now I have to study what do I have to do to become successful and become very competitive at the longer, more aerobic events like the marathon distance. And I certainly credit long, slow runs to helping me get to a very competitive level in the marathon distance. Okay, sure, I was running many of my long runs running at marathon pace. So examples of those types of workouts where I would do 20 mile to 25 mile long runs, anywhere from 32K up to around 40 kilometers in distance, where I would run maybe the first 10 miles of a 20 miler relaxed, and then the last 10 miles at goal marathon race pace. Or if I was going, another one of my favorite workouts was doing every 5th mile of a 25 miler, I would drop a sub 5 minute mile in the middle of that long run. Again, because I was trying to get my goal race pace to feel easier. Okay, but I would always, the following week, I would go out there and run a long run at 8 to 9 minute mile pace. I really didn't care about pace when it came time for easy, slow runs. My focus was, and it should be for you, is to adapt to the hard workouts that I was putting in. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for me to need up to 3 days of recovery after those harder, very paced long runs. So it's absolutely vital that you do pay attention to long, slow runs, because they're still essential for marathon training. Okay, again, there's only so many times we can push the body hard anaerobically. Okay, if you're not allotting sufficient time for your body to super compensate, okay, meaning, and this is a physiological adaptation that occurs immediately after we do harder anaerobic training, whether that's repeat thousands on the track, repeat 800s on the track, 16 to 24 400-meter reps on the track, workouts like that where you're really running it closer to your VO2 max, your maximum oxygen uptake. If you're not allotting sufficient time to recover, to super compensate, your body is about 2 to 3 times weaker immediately following a hard anaerobic workout. But it's what happens as you sleep those 48 hours after the workout is complete is where the magic happens. Okay, but if you're still running too fast on your easy days and you're not giving yourself sufficient time to adapt and recover from the hard training you're doing, it's going to be hard to really benefit from those really hard anaerobic workouts that you're doing. So you have to be just as disciplined on those easier recovery days as you already are in the harder anaerobic workouts. Okay, you have to use that same motivation and drive to, back off, be smart, think about leverage, think about how can I get better results by working smarter rather than harder. Okay, it's not just about working hard. There's plenty of hard-working athletes out there that don't always get the best results. Sometimes it's just about being a little bit more smart, being a little bit more strategic in how you're setting up your training, giving yourself more time to prepare for your marathon, 5 to 6 months versus 8 to 12 weeks. Again, and again, you want to minimize the amount of mental and physical stress you're placing on yourself. So if you have a marathon and you're only giving yourself 2 months to prepare for it, you consider giving yourself 5 to 6 months. Find a legitimate, preferably flat, fast marathon. I say fast, but again, you can go out and run on a flat course and still not run a fast time. It's not a fast course, it's a fast athlete. It's how well prepared mentally as well as physiologically the athlete is that truly makes that course fast. So keep that in mind too. What I mean by that though is to find a course that isn't hilly and that's going to increase your chances of reaching the marathon goal time that you're aiming for. But I also want you to make sure that you still are running long and slow, okay? It's still important, okay? We always get caught up in, I gotta run at this per kilometer pace or per mile pace, or else I'm not gonna meet the results. Sometimes the reason why you're not getting the results is because one, you could be running way too fast too often throughout the week, or you could be running too much of your kilometers, too many of your miles too slow, and you're simply not producing the amount of physiological stress that you need to place on the body in order to set a new personal best in the marathon, okay? It took me several years, it took me actually over 2 decades to achieve my personal best in the marathon distance. And so it's just a matter of being persistent, really being smart about your training and not running so fast, so often that you stress yourself out and you overanalyze and you start to doubt yourself because you're not getting the results you're wanting. Look at how you're setting up your training. Are you rushing your fitness, or are you giving yourself ample time for your body to adapt? Okay, it takes around 28 days for the body to adapt to any stress load being placed on it. So right now, you may be having a hard time running 7-minute mile pace for 3 miles, and you're trying to run 26.2 miles at that pace. Don't overthink it, okay? First start off running 3-mile tempos at that pace, and then work your way up to 10 miles or to 16 kilometers. You have to first adapt to one specific stress load before you can start working at the next stress load, okay? But you have to also ensure that you're going slow enough that you're recovering. And this is where long, slow runs are absolutely vital. You have to build that endurance and spend time on your feet and not just get caught up in, I gotta run fast every single weekend, or I gotta run these long runs at this specific pace, or I'm not gonna meet my goals. You have to do a combination of both, okay? So I hope this video on why are long, slow runs considered essential for marathon training has been helpful for you. I've been there, I get it, I understand how complex this event is, and I can promise you, with enough initiative, with enough thinking outside the box, thinking about the other fundamentals, what you're doing after the workout's done, the tempo runs, the long runs, the speed workouts, getting enough proper sleep, eating the right foods, mental rehearsal, de-stressing, not placing so much stress and over-analyzing yourself in your preparation. Minimize the amount of stress being placed on yourself. The moment you do that, you're going to take your training and your racing to the next level, I promise you. So I hope this video is helpful for all of you. If you have any other questions, leave me a comment below. I'll definitely respond to you. Check out the resources on RunDreamAchieve.com. And also here on the channel, I've made a lot of videos on marathon training and how you can become a much faster long distance runner as well as middle distance runner. I hope it's helpful for you. And I'll talk to you guys and gals all in the next video.